Three, two, one, we're live.
Hey guys, welcome to a Wednesday quarantine edition four. I think we're at.
And we're week 4 of the quarantine.
I'm Manny's taking a minute to like and share the page. I'm Lindsay from the West End, a public house by the Galleria.
I'm Marco.
That's Marco.
I'm Marco.
And down below Marco. Wait, no, this way.
Yeah.
I'm poking
I'm Shannen from Craft
Shannen
Burger.
Tune.
There we go.
Hey, what's going on? Everyone, it's your boy Manny from What You Craving. So we're super excited. We have live on the show this evening Chef Shannen Tune from Craft Burger, and we just want to kick it, talk about everything that's been going on this last month, get some updates from him and his brand, and pick his brain a little bit, seeing how how he's handling the whole situation and what he's doing to keep busy and to stay above water, man. Like we were just talking off air. Yeah, we're all going through this.
Yeah.
No one is excluded, right? Because there's so many different aspects that people are getting affected by. But I guess before we jump into that, let's talk about let's recap our week, man. Marco, how was your week, brother?
Oh, not that eventful. Just sitting at home. Nothing crazy going on. I tried to put in some work in that new truck. Oh, I guess I helped a buddy cut down a tree yesterday. That is kind of eventful. But other than that, just working on this new truck, and I'm having some running into mechanical issues. Seeming like electrical, but it's all part of the fun of
Did you bring in professional, or are you doing it?
As far as the truck build out. So the truck's already built. The hard parts, the electrical, the plumbing, the walls, the insulation, hood vent, all that's already there. I'm just kind of gutting it so I can fit my equipment in, and I can do that. I can tear stuff up when I got my buddy that's helping me weld everything back together. So I'm just building the frame, bringing in equipment. Zach at Car Builder is going to help me. Texas Car Builder is going to help me with some of the plumbing work and check out the generator that it's already got on it, do some maintenance on it. But other than that, we're gonna try to do as much as we can ourselves.
Nice.
Got the time for it.
We had a meeting yesterday at work. It was the first time I'd stepped into the West End for a few weeks, so it was oddly nostalgic, but it made me so happy. I've missed that place so much. But yeah, we just had a discussion about reopening for to-go and delivery. Found out that our insurance covers it, which is nice. So we might be opening back up in the next couple of weeks to do more delivery and to-go delivery and alcohol and food. And then just talked about marketing and how we're going to market ourselves after this, with people not wanting to come in and sit in large groups next to each other, moving tables around to make sure that all the tables are 6 feet apart. Just all that kind of stuff that every bar is talking about right now, honestly. And then, what precautions we're going to take with our servers to make sure that everybody's staying safe and they're doing their jobs as healthy as possible without, passing germs and getting masks made. And it's a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were also talking offline was that we get so many mixed signals. Like I was telling the guys, I saw a video that said, "Hey, everything's going to remain closed unless you have to stay open. Don't go out unless you have to go out." And it's just
like everything's a catch-22.
Yeah, and so it's definitely a challenge navigating through all this information and the reality of what we're facing, because we just don't know. We just don't know. What did I do this past weekend? I didn't do much. We're nickel and diming. We got a couple gigs that we do for breakfast and lunch. Is just keeping us above water, keeping my employees busy. Making sure they're still working. It's tough though, but we're doing the best that we can. I also, did you guys catch the news this morning about Federal Grill? I wanted to get your thoughts on this. as we lead into the show. But Federal Grill announced or came out with a statement saying that Friday they're going to be open to the general public and open dining. They're going to allow people to come in and dine, and they're going to have I guess a protocol in place. The waiters are going to have gloves, masks. They're going to have disposable salt and pepper shakers on the table. They're going to allow like a 30% capacity. Shannen, what are your thoughts on something like that?
I mean, I understand why people are doing it, but I'm not going into any restaurant where I have to wear a mask and the servers and everyone's gonna. I just don't like. If I have to do all that, I'd rather just eat at home.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, it goes back to that thing where, it's tough. We want to go out, man, and you said it too. We're very positive people. It's hard for us to get caught in that pessimistic attitude, but going out and dining is all about the experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of experience. And again, listen, I know Matt personally. Me and him opened up. I was part of the opening team 12, 13 years ago here in Houston, steakhouse in the Galleria area. Mo's a place for steaks on Post Oak. I know him personally. I've worked with him for many years. I support him and what he does. I don't judge, but it's one of those things where it's like, fuck, what's the right thing to do here? And I get his point of view. I get a lot of people's point of view. And I've said this before. It's one of those things where I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer because we're in the dark on this. We don't have. The last time we faced something like this was when 18 or when was it 1918 or some shit.
Yeah,
we weren't alive.
Yeah, so it's and the thing that again with all this misinformation, we want to open up the economy, right? We want to get people back to work, and then they backdoor with, and then scientists are saying that there's going to be a second wave in December, and it's going to be as deadly. So wait a minute, what are we doing? We're rushing to open up so we can deal with this second wave that's coming in December. And again, I'm not advocating one position or the other. I'm just vocally going through my thought process that I go through on a daily basis. It's like, fuck, you're telling us to go back out to open up the business, but then on the very next segment, you're talking about this second wave that's going to hit us in December, and it's going to be fucking, twice as fucking bad. So what is it? What are you going to do? Matt got permission from the mayor of that little small town. I think it's it's some little village out there. He got permission from the mayor. Apparently some of the city council is going to be dining there as well. So, all the best. I hope that it's successful. I hope no one gets sick. I hope that everyone has a good time, and I hope it's positive. Mary says, at some point, we need to remember we have rights: the right to stay home, right to go out, right to do what the fuck we want. That's right, Mary. Mary's gonna be running for mayor. It's business owners. We have to make moves, or we will fail.
My biggest thing about it is the way I look at it is there's two separate things, right? Yes, we need to make money. We need to keep the economy going too. But like to me, before they shut down the city and everything, I was having a moral complex of saying that, like, all right, how am I going to feel if one of my employees gets sick over these cheeseburgers? You know what I'm saying? And like, or one of my guests gets sick because they're standing in line, or, because the information wasn't coming fast enough. You know what I'm saying? We didn't really know what protocols to take. Think the first week of March when the coronavirus was here, but we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know it yet. we weren't taking precautions. We were just hearing like, oh, this is a Chinese problem.
Right.
Now this is an Italian problem. Oh, this is a New York City problem. And then now it's in Houston. And then my whole thing is like, it started getting real fast. And like to me, it's like, yo, is this worth making a little bit of extra money? And I feel people's like, especially people who haven't gotten any help yet, if they haven't gotten any financial help, if they haven't got unemployment, if they haven't gotten any of the PPP loans or anything like that, I understand. I feel what they're going through, but at the same time, is making a little bit of money worth it? You know what I'm saying? And then for me going forward, I know 10 people personally who died already from coronavirus.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, on Easter Sunday, one of my friends from high school, he's a 38 years old police officer, died from coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is real. I think because, I think because it isn't so bad in Houston. Like right here, people are like, all right, throw caution to the wind. Let's roll the dice on it. But what happens when you roll the dice? You get everyone back out there, and then it becomes like New York City.
Well, and that's the thing. It's definitely a real virus. And like you said, you personally know people that had died for it. I know, Lindsay, you know people. I've had family. And at the same time, people talk about, and again, listen, I don't have, when I have an opinion about something, I have an opinion, I stand behind it, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This though, I really don't, because it can go either way. And I try to listen to both arguments, and I try to keep an open mind. But when I look at New York, and I look at what's in Houston, New York didn't do shit like we did. The city responded pretty quickly with the staying home, social distancing, and so it's hard to argue that it didn't work, because we didn't see the numbers like a New York City or California or Florida or Chicago or some of the other cities that were hit hard. So when I hear people say, well, I don't know anyone, or it's, no one's sick over here. And well, that's because we did what we had to do to curb it.
It.
Huh?
But is it? I mean, that might not be the only thing that has kept Houston as in the clear. Not, I don't want to say in the clear, but as safe as we have been, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of distance between us and them, like us in New York. Who's to say? I mean, we're not scientists here. Who's to say? Have the scientists said anything about, the disease actually like weakening, like the further it goes? I know that there are certain scientists that have said, that the heat and the weather have, something to do with it as well. We sweat more than people do up there. There's all these little tiny factors that might have something to do with it, other than just we're staying at home and we're quarantining. I haven't been going out like constantly, but I go to the store if I need something. I wear gloves, I wear my mask, I throw my gloves away, I do the things, but I haven't bunkered down in my apartment, where I have people in Boston, friends in Boston, that my friend Michael, I talked to him the other day, he has not left his apartment, other than his backyard, in over a month, and he is. Sorry, I have 3 black cats, and they're all like on my chair right now somewhere. He hasn't left his apartment, but in Boston, it's so much worse than it is here. So, I think that we're doing a lot of things right as far as quarantining and staying at home, and only going out if you need to. But I think that there's more factors into it.
Andre said that, and he brings up a point. He says Cali crushed it, and they were even talking about people in Cali being immune from it. That there was something in their blood that either they had an antibody or they were just immune from it. So I thought that was kind of weird. JP,
there's so much information out there now about, you don't know what to believe or what not to believe. I just think that, moving, one of the things I came to realize very early is regardless of regardless of what happens, everything's going to change in our very near future.
Right.
The way we conduct business, everything's gonna change. So one of the things I've been doing, like I've been communicating with my staff, weekly, and just be like, yo, when we do get back to it, because we will. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be a week, I know it's gonna be 2 weeks, I know it's gonna be a month, but we will get back to it. When we do, just be prepared to do things differently. Our whole business model is gonna have to change. Everything's gonna change.
I think that's something that we talked about last week. Some of the things that we're seeing, transform right before our eyes. The way we do business, the way we interact, the way we market. The public perception that we try to put out there for our clients. And there's a bunch of little subtle things too that that, because it's been what, 4 weeks already. This is going on our 4th week.
Maybe more.
We're creatures of habit, and just like 9/11, you have that trauma from it. We're gonna deal with the trauma of this. This is a real scenario. It's a plague. It's a fucking real life plague, world plague that we're experiencing. And it would be naive to think that things are just gonna go back to normal. There is 10 years from now, 15 years from now, our kids, whether Shannon, your kids are a little bit older, they're in college, or Marco's daughter would be in a freshman in high school, or whatever, they're going to be reading about this. They're going to be reading about the plague of 2020, and how it changed the world. And there's a lot of things, we're talking about conspiracies. The whole 5G network, once we get through this, that's going to be a whole nother platform that we're dealing with too. And that's going to be, I always have trouble explaining things. And so I was talking to my wife the other day about 5G, and I said, man, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not good at this shit, but I got a good movie we can watch to sort of give you an idea of what 5G could be like. So we went back and watched The Demolition Man, which you never saw before. Y'all remember The Demolition Man? With Arnold Schwarzenegger, Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock, Benjamin Bratt. It's a great movie. It's a classic. But it's true, right? Like a lot of that 5G, you're going to be able to, like they're doing it in China already, where they monitor your behavior and their, face recognition. And, they say that the 5G, right now you own all the information that you have on your phone, right? Through Google or whatever. They can't access this without your permission per se. I'm sure they do. But when they go to the 5G, you no longer own your information, because it's going to be all wired through the city and the agencies. And so all that, there's going to be a lot of privacy issues with that. But I think this whole new decade has really started off with a bang, and moving forward, things aren't going to be like the last 10 years or the last 20 years. I think we're evolving right before us and right before our eyes, and it's going to be interesting. What are some of the things that you guys are talking about? When you're sitting at the whiteboard, or you're strategizing for, the rest of the year or the next 5 years, Shannon, as far as your business and your brand goes?
Well, literally a week before this whole coronavirus thing broke, I was getting ready to sign a lease on a brand new restaurant. Oh. And, I was fortunate enough to get out of that before I signed the contract or did anything like that. But like my whole mind has changed about like owning a brick and mortar. I kind of want to stay small, you know what I'm saying? Because for the simple fact that I believe that this happened, and if it happened once, it can happen again. So I think in the near future, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, something like this is going to happen again, right? And it's going to throw us off in such a major way, financially and every way possible. So it's like, I rather like I'm okay now. Like my wife and some of our friends and even some of my employees, they're like, yo, you're extremely calm for how big this is and it's affecting craft burger. And I said, well, one, first and foremost, I don't have a lot of debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not making money but I'm not losing money either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm okay. So, one of the things that we're looking at is like, all right, how can we grow our business and stay small, at the same time? So we've been, looking at one of the things that has come up are these different ghost kitchens. I think delivery in the near future is going to play a huge part of how we conduct business. And so I've been strategizing and getting myself. There's a few ghost kitchens opening up in Houston.
Yeah.
And I partnered with one of them to able to grow my brand or brands in one location. And one of the reasons.
For those that are watching, they might not know what a ghost kitchen is. Can you just take two minutes to give them a crash course on what a ghost kitchen is?
All right, the simplest way I can describe a ghost kitchen is a location where you have it's like a facility, almost like a commissary kitchen, but it's individualized. So it's almost like a food hall. I have a stall with all my kitchen equipment, and I'm able to operate in a different part of town than my location is downtown, but it's all delivery and takeaway. So I'm not paying for any front of the house cost. I'm not paying for signage. I have, excuse me. It's almost like having a food truck somewhere, but someone just walks up.
It's a virtual restaurant.
It's a virtual restaurant.
Virtual restaurant, pretty much.
Yeah. So you can't dine in. You can't dine in there, but I can do catering out of it. I can do pickup. I can do delivery out of it. And the one that I partnered with actually has a sit down location where you can sit down and eat your food there.
Oh, nice.
So and it's funny because there were talks before all this, and I forget where there was somebody. I don't want to say it was Gary Vee, but it was somebody maybe that Gary Vee was interviewing, and they had brought up virtual kitchens, and they were saying that, hey, virtual kitchens is going to be the next big wave in the hospitality industry. And so when something like this happens, it sort of pushes that model even more forward. So kind of interesting.
And one of the things that was a perk for me about being in this place, once again, it's very low. It's low cost to get in. It's really not a lot of money to start the business. And then once you have the space, they set you up with like all the technology that you would need as far as POS systems and everything that goes with that and all the ordering systems. But I'm able to do more than one concept out of the same space. So
that's the super benefit of them.
Yes. So it's like, because I realized for me to be profitable in one of those ghost kitchens is that I would have to do at least 65 orders a day. And I don't currently do that much. Well, I wasn't before all this happened. I wasn't doing 65 delivery orders a day at my downtown location. So I was like, all right, so how am I going to be able to do 65 orders in one day? And I said, well, I got to do more than one concept. And I'm able to do that. And also do it with a quarter of the labor that I would need at my restaurant. I don't need an order taker. I need a fry cook. I need a grill cook. And if we're at peak busyness, someone to package it all up. Everything else is done by the staff at the ghost kitchen.
Yeah. The last time that we talked and you were on the show, we were talking about entrepreneurship and the way entrepreneurs respond to the market and crises and situations like this. And you had made a point, and I think a little content on your point was that we were talking about if someone copies one of your menu items, that you don't get upset, you just take it as a compliment, and then you get creative and create something new. and you're consistent because, we're sitting here and we're talking and one of the things that when all this started was I knew that it was a real situation. I knew that, okay, all the shit that I talk, because, you made a point about, how you keep positive. Same thing. Someone asked me the other day, how, both your businesses are down. Your gym, you can't open your gym. Your fighters ain't fighting. The food truck is very limited. How are you staying positive and not stressing out? And I said, it's easy. It's discipline. It's what I've been doing, and so all the shit that I talked before and all the, you got to stay positive. You got to have the right attitude. Okay, well, now was my opportunity to either live the bullshit or just be full of shit. And so when we're faced with these things, it's very real. And we go through, I listen, I don't think I'd be very far off, even though you're calm and you might not have a lot of debt, but at the same time, you're still, we all still deal with the mental aspect of fuck, where's the fucking light at the end of the tunnel? How is business gonna be after all this shit is said and done? And the trick is staying innovative and create and understanding that you got to have to create new ways to build your brand and be successful in a whole totally different environment and landscaping. Or landscape, ghost kitchens, that's a fucking fantastic idea.
Well, my part of my process, anytime I have like an obstacle, and this is a huge obstacle, but I think the process works regardless what your thing is. You can either have a woe is me attitude, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Why is this happening to me? Or you can get right to figuring it out.
Right.
And it's like, to me, I don't waste time in the woe is me, or why is like trying to figure out why this is happening. Doesn't matter why it's happening. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? And so I just said, all right, what are my options? How can I survive this? What can we do? Because I guess I never have the mentality that, there isn't an answer to this. For every problem, there's an answer. Right. And to me, it's like, and even now, so I'm like, all right, so we got the ghost kitchens going, right? That's in the works. It'll be opened by May 3rd or 4th. You know what I'm saying? That's going, right? The other part is, one thing I realized, I said, all right, now I need to find a way to make income that doesn't require people buying my food. You know what I'm saying? So what's another way I can make income without that? And I really started thinking about it, and then like opportunities kind of fell where, like, now I'm doing cooking videos for a company, a Valdea onion company out in Georgia, and they're shipping me onions, and I'm cooking, doing like creating recipes and giving them content for them to sell. I'm like, all right, and and I'm gonna charge them as much as I possibly can to do that, and then I'm going to find other people who want to buy my content. So I'm like, all right. So after we get the craft burger open up at Fit Hall, we have the Ghost Kitchen going, and we're doing 3 different concepts there at the Ghost Kitchen. Then I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna find a way to deliver content to people and find a way to monetize
it. And that's the way to go. Well, what are your thoughts on that, Marco?
No, I think that's great. I mean, I think in moments like these, like, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Shannen said. Remain small so you can be agile enough to shift if necessary, if there's problems or something like that. Maybe this won't happen again, but if you ever have to make any adjustments, a smaller, tighter team is easier to shift than if you've got just a massive massive reach or just you're expanded all over the place. I like his ghost kitchen idea. It's something we were looking at before this, and we signed up with one before this, and now it even makes even more sense after all of it happened. So I mean, everything he said, and then find other ways to make income, something that goes along with your brand and what you're doing, or maybe it doesn't have to go with your brand, but if you can have multiple sources of income, you know.
This is a time where we should be developing other skills that we're going to need moving into the future. This is something that I said week 1 going into this. Use your time wisely. You know, that whole first week, I did nothing but my taxes, my accounting. I got all that in order. I didn't go out at all. I stayed in and I focused on that. So I'm going to use this time wisely. I'm going to get all my financials, my P&L, everything structured, boom, and get that in order. That second week, I started to play around a little bit as far as going out. And, you know, as far as, you know, I wanted to touch on the content part, you know, the making of the videos. Shannen, you have that background. You were on the show. You feel comfortable in front of a camera, at least on the outside. So for you, it's natural. One of the things that I wanted to do was even work on our content for our brand as well. You know, I've been using TikTok a lot, right?
Yeah.
And people might see me using TikTok and be like, well, what the fuck is this guy doing fucking around on TikTok? But no, I understand that right now I have all this free time to become very familiar with another platform that's going to be the Facebook for the next, 5 years or so. And so I'm going to take this time to mess around on TikTok, to get familiar with it, to learn, how to properly use it for my business, because that's the next thing. I mean, and you see it now. You see all these people on that platform and posting videos and doing all this and that. So you don't want to be a step behind when the gates open and be like, oh shit, TikTok, what the fuck is TikTok? Everyone's been using TikTok. And so, using your time wisely, learning a new skill set, staying positive, all that is I think is crucial to, coming out ahead on this, because like you said, we're all going to get through this, one way or the other. And how are you going to want your journey to be narrated? In other words, oh, fucking Manny, all he did was bitch and complain about, woe is him. And, every time I talked to him, he was just like, fuck, what am I going to do? I'm not going to get behind, I'm never going to get out of this or this. Or are you going to be the guy that was like, man, that dude always was, positive. He maintained a positive attitude. And so that's the challenge that I put out to everyone else. And I mean, don't get me wrong. We talk about this. It's a huge mental game, right? Because we're like those fucking lions in Tiger King, right? King Tiger, whatever. We're caged up. We want to be roaming the streets. We want to be in our element. We're not in our fucking element at all. We're not in our element. And so we're fucking caged up.
Well, they don't know that that's not their element, though. They're born there. They're born there.
Well, no,
they don't know any. They don't know any different. They don't know.
I would argue that they do. I would, but. Well,
I'm sure they all feel like they need bigger space because they do. Need bigger space. And I'm not saying that I'm not like saying I'm like for it or anything by no means, but like at the same time, like they don't know. Like we know we're not in our element.
We know we're not in our element, and it's killing us. And the battle is in our minds. And I'm sure, and I'm sure I've gotten short with people, and I've lost my cool maybe once or twice here in these last 4 months. And it's one of those things where when it happens, you got to catch yourself and be like, fuck, I was a dick or whatever, and you move forward. But it brings me to another point. You're just one, Shannen. You're just one half of the Tune brand, and I wanted to give a special shout out and spend a couple minutes talking about the huge role that our wives play especially if we have children. My wife works from home, and so when she's working, when life was normal, she had an empty house.
Yeah.
And now she has a little mini me running around demanding food every 5 minutes, yelling, running up and down the hallways, doesn't want to sit down and do her work. And I'm over here like, hey, well, when you're done making her breakfast, what are you going to make me? And so, a huge shout out to the moms out there that are working from home, who are taking care of the kids. I'm not going to speak for y'all, for Marco or you, Shannon. I probably don't do as much as I could be doing when it comes to helping when it comes to helping.
Are you trying to get us in trouble later, bro?
I could probably be doing a lot more when it comes to helping out my wife, but she is definitely a super woman, doing everything that she's doing with my daughter. And of course, you guys know she's pregnant. So not only is she working, she's taking care of the baby, but she's also pregnant. And so, she's going through all, through all that. So how is that? Let's put the spotlight on your wife a little bit. How's that been on the home front?
Well, yeah, I know for my wife, it's been it's very difficult because she's not having to be the teacher, and that's well outside of her element. Like when it comes to teaching our kids, and especially with my son, he's 14. He hops on the computer, does what he has to do. He's done,
And so cool. He's so awesome.
My 8-year-old, she has to actually instruct her.
Yeah.
And my 8-year-old does not make it easy for her, at all. Like, she has no attention span, like whatsoever, especially doing a bunch of stuff she doesn't want to do. So it's a lot more work for my wife to do those things. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be like, yo, this year don't count. Do what y'all want to do. This year, everybody's just we're just going to strike this one like it never happened. We'll start next year. This is brand new. But it's like, they have, even if the stuff that they're doing doesn't count, they need the routine to stay the same. We still need to, maintain some level of normalcy. And her being the teacher at home is maintaining the normalcy. And then it's like she has her role during that period of time. So when she's teaching them and they're doing the schoolwork, I'm handling business stuff. But when they're done, it flip flops. Now I'm the activity dad. Like let's go ride our bikes. Let's go jump in the pool. Let's go do this. Like now I have to entertain my kids for 5 hours. And then they're tired out. But it's just been like, it's been a big change. No one expected this, you know what I'm saying? Right. So we weren't really prepared going into this to say, all right, this is how it's going to be. This is what you should do, what you shouldn't do. We were just thrown into this. And my wife, she adapted as well as she could, as far as her role, what she's going to do, what she's going to be responsible for. And then, we've been sharing the tasks of cooking. We know where we've got to now with the cooking for the family. I feel we've cooked everything we could cook. Because we're a family that normally eat out a lot, but just like we're like, all right, let's not, ball out. Let's conserve some money and cook at home. Right. And I think every meal in our repertoire we've made twice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like yesterday and today, I'm like, yeah, I'm going out and getting breakfast. I'm gonna get some breakfast tacos because I can't eat pancakes and waffles again.
Right.
No, that's one thing I have not made for breakfast yet, and I'm mad at myself.
What?
Pancakes. Oh, pancakes or waffles.
We were eating pancakes like 3 times a week. I'm like, yo, I don't want to see another pancake.
I used to make these like garlic butter pancakes that were so fucking delicious. They were like savory and sweet all at the same time.
Mary says beanie weenies tonight. Marco, Mary says beanie weenies tonight. Marco, I know the baby's still young. She's not in school yet, but how is this stay at home ordeal been with you and Charity and the baby?
It's been great.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. I gotta grab a charger.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been great. I get to watch the little baby grow. She gets bigger every day. I'm more involved in like the day-to-day care for her than when I'm not. When I'm on the truck or when I'm out doing stuff all day. But she's still so little that it's not like,
right.
Man, I can't imagine having to like put kids on a schedule for like school and activities and wake up and get dressed, and the baby's kind of like put her clothes on, okay, till she wants to eat, she wants a diaper change, she wants to play. I'm not teaching 5th grade science.
I got to see Mila yesterday.
Oh, no, I wasn't here yesterday.
No, you weren't there. No, I went bike riding after me and one of my coworkers went bike riding after our meeting, and we went into the Heights, and I was like, oh, it was Mark, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna surprise him, and we rode up to y'all's house. I was like driving in the driveway or riding in the driveway. I was like, Charity, come outside. And we didn't think she heard us, and we're about to leave, and she's like, Lindsay, is that you?
That took me back to when I was a kid in my neighborhood on my bike, and we didn't have cell phones. We'd go like try to bike to my friend's house to see if they wanted to come ride bikes. We'd yell through the window, or we'd like knock. Hey, John.
I've been doing that. Like, I've been riding in the Heights, and like I'll ride over to y'all's place and just be like, oh, are they outside? No, I'll keep going. I'll go over to my friend Brandon and Ginger's and like see if they're outside. Go over to my friend Jake, see if he's outside. But I haven't like bothered like calling anybody. There's no fun in that. I just want to see if you're outside.
Yeah.
Have Shannon, have your kids had any one of the things in my neighborhood that I thought has been really cool is that I've gotten to know my neighbors a lot more, and they're out a lot more. But I have a lot of neighbors with kids that are my daughter's age. So anytime my daughter is by that front window, she sees the kids out, she wants to run out and play with them. And I've really struggled with that because I don't want her getting sick or anything. How has and since she's the only child right now, it's like fuck, I get it. But how has it been with your kids? Have they been going out playing in the front lawn? You guys have other neighbor kids that they kick it with, or how'd that play out for y'all?
Well, what I've been doing is being that I know one, like it's not a good idea for them to be out there playing with these other kids because you just never know. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been occupying their time. Like I said, I've been activity dad. So I went and bought bikes for everybody. Like so my daughter, she had like a toddler bike, but she's 8 now, so I had to get her a bigger bike. Then I had to teach her how to ride it without training wheels. And then I bought a bike for myself. So like we've just been out riding bikes and doing stuff like that. And as long as they're occupied, they're fine.
Yeah.
And then like what they've been doing is like for my daughter's like school. I was saying my son is 14, so all his friends, they all have computers, tablets, they can Zoom, they can communicate however they communicate, like on the computer. But like my 8-year-old, like these kids don't have cell phone. I mean, some of them probably do have cell phones, but like that's not how they communicate. But what the teachers have been doing is doing like Zoom meetings for the kids.
Right. That's
where they can all get on and just talk to each other. So between that and just keeping like the activities going, like we've done everything from gardening to cooking, like every other family. We were doing a ton of baking and teaching my kids how to bake and stuff like that. Long as there's activities, they're fine. So we've just been doing a lot of that.
Well, that's awesome. What about the food truck? I seen that you posted the other day that it's going to be coming back out. What plans do you have for that?
We're still working our way through that right now. We've had a couple of opportunities have come my way. One of the things that I've been looking at, like our situation with the food truck, is that like I've been offered a few decent caterings, or feeding like for contract feeding for like frontline first responders and frontline essential employees, and I kind of feel weird about taking those things because I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? And I've been kind of pushing those things to other people who I know need it. Like if I don't run my food truck until we get back open, I'll be okay. I know other people that if they don't run their food truck right now, they're gonna go completely out of business. You know what I'm saying? So I put it out there. I got a few, responses from it, some requests, but I don't feel now is the time to be greedy.
Right. Right. Right.
When you go back out there, I know Manny mentioned that you're going out soon. What sort of spots or what setup do you think you're gonna lean towards going to first? Like neighborhood, apartment, offices, and I don't think offices are going to be a thing, but
yeah,
I
think most of the things I'll do will probably be neighborhoods, because I think that's your only sure bet. Most of the places that food trucks would do good, like bars and event spaces, like that, they're out of the equation. But neighborhood functions, are going to be it, especially right now before the restaurants get back open. These people are tired of cooking. Like even if they've been cooking, sparingly, they want something else. So I think that will be the route. But like also my other thing with that too is like for the same reason I don't want my kids out there playing with people, like other kids' neighborhood. I don't know if I feel good about my employees being out there. You know what I'm saying? So I think I guess one of the things I'm doing right now is thinking about the process. Like how are we going to conduct business? What are we going to do to ensure that it's safe? And before I get back out there, I want to make sure I have all that stuff thought out and in place so that we can do it in a safe manner.
That brings up a great point, and that's a great way of looking at it. And something, one of the things that I was saying in the beginning was, we're all going through this. There's, and I still say it, but someone posted something that made me realize that even though we're all going through this, we're not all in the same position.
Yeah.
So some of us can absolutely be like, well, you know what? This is a great time to step back and spend time at home, or step back and, work on the business, financials and do other things. And you're absolutely correct. Sometimes it's just not worth going out there. Sometimes it is better just to maybe hand things off or give those opportunities to someone else. But that was an eye opener for me when they said, yeah, we're all going through this, but we're not all in the same position. And it is tough out there. There is people that they have to be out there. They have to fucking be able to bring something in because they're both parents or husband and wife are all in on the business. I'm lucky. My wife works full time, so if everything fucking crashes, she'll just be my sugar mama, and I stay at home and be a stay-at-home dad and and live the good life. But
you're gonna have to start doing more around the house then. Start practicing.
Have you done any what are some of the projects you've done at home? Has she had a honey-do list for you at home?
Oh God, man. It was like every project we put off, so like, hey, when we have more time, we'll get to this.
Yeah.
With the first 2 weeks, it was all that, so The biggest project we had was my garage became my storage for all of our catering equipment. And I mean, you couldn't walk through it. You definitely couldn't get a car in there. And we were like, yo, we need to organize it. But it was such a big task that like we just didn't want to do it. And we ran out of excuses, so we had to do it. And I mean, we organized it so well we could actually park one of our cars in our driveway, which is a feat. So we had to do that. Then it was just cleaning and organizing, like just cleaning and organizing every square foot of this house, getting rid of all like spring cleaning, getting rid of anything we weren't using. We went room by room, just decluttering everything. And then we got to the yard work, man. It's like, I mean, we had to like redo our whole backyard as far as planting things, and I had to put some sod down, and I was like, yo, I don't, these hands are not yard work hands, you know what I mean? Like, I am not built for this. I was like, yo, I hope I get back to work soon, because next time I have to start hammering stuff. And I tell people all the time, I am a city boy. I don't really do all this. But yeah, we just been like going through everything and cleaning and organizing. My wife's a neat freak as it is. So we just been cleaning the house and re-cleaning the house and just making sure everything is organized and neat, you know. But I fear that like my wife is gonna lose her calm composure when she runs out of stuff to clean.
And that's when you gotta watch out.
Yeah.
Lindsay, more projects, any projects at home?
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear the names. Oh shit, that scared my cat. I've actually been working on my not handwriting, but typography a little bit, learning that. I've been working on little tiny tasks, coming up with different marketing ways to market the West End after this. Just little things like that. We've definitely got some ideas of ways that we're going to change making money at the West End, but I don't really want to talk about them yet because because I don't want to give them away because they're really great ideas. But yeah, so I've just been working on that, and I've actually been just relaxing. I'm not a person to ever sit at home and watch TV. I've got an extremely comfortable, cozy apartment. Hate being here. Like, I don't lay on the couch. I envy my friends when they make these posts of drinking wine and watching TV. And I think to myself, I'm going to do that. And I do it for 15 minutes. And then I'm like, all right, what am I going to go do? Got to go do something. So I've actually been taking this time to relax. And I bought a bike. And I've been riding my bike about 5 to 20 miles every other day. So that's really nice. And that's something that I've never done before since like middle school. So it's been nice getting some exercise in, and yeah, I've been taking some time to actually relax.
Yeah, I'll never stop advocating for exercise, man. It's crucial. It's crucial. Even now, more so than ever, with maintaining a good mental aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, those are my happiest days. The days where I go out and ride my bike, even though like halfway through the ride I'm like, ugh, like sweaty and like my legs hurt. Like, even getting home though, I'm just like, my best mood day.
Yeah, everything that Lindsay said, I've been doing the exact opposite. So I've definitely gained a few lbs for sure. Just
you were the one that was stepping up your game with the healthy eating, going vegan, cutting out all the bad shit.
I still stick to that, but you know, it's a lot of free time. And we got that a lot of streaming services. I dusted off my Xbox One and got a downloaded Call of Duty, and I haven't played video games in so long. I'm like, I got time to sit at the end of the day and wind down.
I've been debating getting a PS4 for Lily, and I just I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I don't know. I don't want to get it. Yeah, I don't want to get
a black hole.
Yeah, we'll see.
We've been playing a lot of Jackbox. Have y'all played Jackbox?
Is that thing you told me about?
It's a bunch of mini games, but you play. So only one person has to own the game, And what we do, so my boyfriend will stream the game on Twitch, and then we'll have a video chat on Facebook with whoever's playing. And they open up a Twitch screen so that they can see the game, and then the game you actually play on your phone. And it's everything. My favorite's called TKO, and you just draw whatever the hell you want to draw. You can, like, my best one was a black screen with an upside down cross, and it made the funniest thing. But you just draw whatever you want, and then you write these little things of whatever you want. It could just be a name. It could be anything funny. And then the other people playing actually make T-shirts out of the drawings. They take the best drawing and the best saying, make T-shirts, and then you vote on the funniest one. And that game has completely just, we'll sit there and play that game for hours. It's so much fun.
I fucked around and did, I'm not going to give any names or anything, but I fucked around and got on that online poker, and I bought in for $100. I bought in for $100, and I shit you not, the second hand I was dealt, it was Ace Jack. And I don't know what I did. I raised it on the I raised it from the jump, and I ended up going all in by I ended up having like a pair.
$100 or $1,000?
No, it was just 100.
Oh,
it was 100. But I went all in on my second hand, and I lost. I had top pair on the fucking turn. I mean on the turn, and the guy ended up flopping a set. So I was like, man, this is why I hate this shit, man. I don't trust online poker. It's just I'm paranoid when it comes to, I want to be able to look in the person's eye, you know, when it comes to playing. So we'll see.
We'll have to set up a social distancing game. Each seat 6 feet apart.
For sure. I
need a long ass table.
We have to like toss the cards.
You gotta be good at that throwing cards thing.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, Shannen. Man, it's always fun. We always get a lot of viewers when you're on. We look forward to everything that you have to offer the city, and you got a great concept, great brand. And I'm sure, like you said, we're all going to get through this. It's just a matter of time. And the biggest thing is, how you get through it, your character. There's a lot of people that, they break under pressure. They start doing dumb shit. They start doing shady shit. They start, they're messy. And it is what it is. But you gotta be able to be above reproach, be a professional, understand what's at stake, be able to navigate through that.
One of the things I was telling people that I was seeing, like, I see some of my friends do it, especially on their business pages. I was like, yo, stop being so desperate, man. Like,
right.
All your messages right now is desperate, and that doesn't attract people. No one wants to be around like something that's failing or whatever. It's like, yo, I say, yo, I've had friends who definitely lost their businesses already, right? Like, their business didn't survive this, but their business wasn't going to survive anyway. Like, this was just the last thing, that made it go under. And I was just like, all right, now take some time. You are forced to take time anyway. Figure out what you're going to do next. You know what I'm saying? And be prepared for when this is over, so that you're not reacting once we're all able to go back to doing business. Like, be proactive. Like, figure out what you're gonna do. What went wrong? Why are you in this situation? What can you do to mitigate your losses now? And real quick before we're wrapping things up, but a lot of people have been asking me, like,
you're good. Take your time.
Asking me questions as far as, like, all right, what are you doing now? What can I be doing later? And first thing I'm still talking to people who have not applied for the PPP loans or any other loans. There's 3 separate loans that they have out there.
I know 2. What are the 3?
There's the PPP loan, which is payroll protection. They have the $10,000 advance
The EDLI or whatever that is.
Yeah, and they have also with that you have the opportunity to get the $10,000 grant. You know what I'm saying? So that's 2 in 1, and then there is just a regular small business loan, but they've kind of broadened their parameter of what they would allow. Normally, like they're not so looking so hard into your credit. Like they're not looking for personal guarantees for the small business loan. So you can still.
I will comment on that I know my credit got checked on the it had to be for the SBA because I hadn't turned in my PPP yet. But that's just, I don't know if they changed that already, but I know I did get a hard check on my credit.
They're checking it, but they're not gonna deny you if you have
right.
credit.
They're checking it for identity confirmation purposes.
Okay.
You are who you are.
That kind of makes sense.
Although I think it's a terrible that it's a hard pull versus a soft pull. It should be a soft pull, but no, it's definitely a hard pull where it does affect you.
Well, you gotta remember if you're once you're approved for it, it's a real loan.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So like it has to be a hard pull. But like my advice to everybody is use all the resources that you can, right? So like I know people who are self-employed and they're like, yo, there's no resources for me. I said that's not true. You know what I'm saying? I'm self-employed. I'm not working right now. I have no income in it. I filed for unemployment and it took a while, but I just today received the email saying, hey, your unemployment's been approved.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, take that. You know what I'm saying? If you qualify, get apply for SNAP, man. Get free groceries while they're giving away free groceries. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, you pay in to all these services, use them. You know what I'm saying? And I had a friend who was going back and forth about the loans. And she's like, well, I don't know if I apply for this. I said, well, how about this? Apply for all of them and let them deny you.
Right. And we talked about that last week is, people don't know, just like you said, if they qualify or not. Well, you know what? The way it was that they were changing guidelines every day, literally, they were changing the guidelines. So I'm like, you're right. Maybe you might not qualify today, but they'll change something and then tomorrow you will qualify. So you might as well be in that virtual line, like that queue that we were talking about. You might as well fill out all the applications. It's almost scary how simple they are because it takes like literally 5 minutes to fill out the application and the paperwork for these loans.
Well, and you've got the time right now.
Huh?
I said, and you've got the time right now.
Right.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I got a little further through the PPP loan process than some other people may have. And all I can say is that you gotta have your paperwork in order.
Right.
So if your books aren't together, if you don't know,
I like you always you always confirm. Like that's exactly what I said the first week. I'm like, use this time to get all your P&L, get your taxes in order, get all that lined up, and then that way, when these opportunities start presenting itself, you're right, because all you had to do was what? Drop your your 1040C or your 1099s. Your what is it? The certification, your certificate of formation, if that was something that you needed. And so, and it's still not too late. So I absolutely. I agree with you 1,000%. If you're out there and, get your P&L in order, get your Schedule C in order, get your 1099s. That way, all you're doing is just uploading those files because it is the actual forms. They don't take long. And when you get to the point where all right, well, this is the forms that we need. This is the application. And it's really, they need the application. They need the proof that there's payroll, and then your proof that you're a company, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's like I know a lot of people don't use may not have an accountant to do all their stuff. I'm like, so if you haven't started this process yet, get all your paperwork in order so that when you do start it, when they start asking you for your 940 1C
41.
and your W3 and all this kind of stuff. You have it together. You know what I'm saying?
So,
because
let me ask you this: do you, when with your accounting, do you just collect your receipts and then give it to your accountant, or do you do your P&L and then just give your P&L to your accountant? Because I'm not sure. I'm all about doing my own P&L. Because I need an accountant that's not afraid, of a jail sentence. So
a creative accountant.
Yeah.
So one of the things I learned very early on with the business is that taking shortcuts don't always work, right? And I got an accountant probably 9 months in to me having my business, and he's like, and I tell people there's a difference between a CP and an accountant. You know what I'm saying? A CP generally takes care of your taxes. My accountant, he sees the problem 9 months in the future and says, hey, you need to start pivoting here. You know what I'm saying? You need to start fixing this. You need to start doing this. Hey, let's start planning for the next 5 years. What are your goals in the next 5 years? And he puts me on the things that I wouldn't even think is in my wheelhouse or whatever, to start building like a financial future, right? And so for me, my accountant handles everything. Now, when it comes to my receipts, everything, I use QuickBooks. Everything goes through QuickBooks.
Okay.
I don't pay cash for nothing, and I organize it. And QuickBooks kind of makes a P&L for you, and he takes that P&L and cleans it up.
Right.
And one of the things that makes things easier for me when it comes to financial institutions is that my books are always clean. Oh, you want to see what I did Q1 year one? I can show it to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, and at some point in time when you're going to want to go to get major funding to build a brick and mortar or to do something big where you need a lot of money, they're going to audit your books. They're going to audit how much, you're reporting to the state to say, hey, my state taxes is this amount, right?
Right.
And it all has to match up. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people, it's like, look, man, like you might save a couple $1,000s a year going around certain things, but eventually it will catch up. You know what I'm saying?
I found this to be true. If your accountant gets on your nerves with all the questions that they ask, the better off you are.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Yeah, my accountant, he'll send like an email. He'll be like, hey, I'm still waiting for the stuff we talked about in our meeting. That'll be the text one. Text two will be like, so I still need those things that we, that we talked about. The third text is like, yo, I can't do my job until you do this. And it's but it's like, it's a good thing to have. I tell people right now, is like a lot of people don't want to pay for that service. They think it's something that they don't need. My accountant saved me $16,000 my first month of having him.
Dang.
Wasn't that? No, it was someone else who said that their accountant pays for themselves, 10 times over.
Oh yeah, and then also I just didn't know about like payroll taxes. That was not something I really knew about, and I wasn't paying them correctly. So it was like
you were handling your own payroll at first.
Yeah, I did everything myself. Everybody was under the table, and it's just like it's one of those things that now I'm so happy. Like I fixed those things. Yes, I hate paying payroll taxes. I think it's ridiculous. It's like you're almost penalizing me for employing people, right? But right now, all my employees are able to collect unemployment. They're making more money than they were working for me because they're getting the government's giving an extra $600 on the thing. And I'm like, yo, it's worth it in times like this. You know what I'm saying? And if I wasn't doing it properly, you
wouldn't, if you weren't doing it properly, you wouldn't be sitting here on a podcast giving out all this useful information. You'd probably be out there on the street trying to fucking hustle to stay alive.
Yeah, because also too, like I found out they can sue you. they can turn around and be like, if they reported you to the Workforce Commission that you treated them like a 1099 and they're not a 1099 employee, the government, like, the state can make you pay back all their Social Security tax, Medicaid tax, all the tax that you should have paid. They can make you go back and pay it. I know this because it happened to a friend. I said, yeah, this ain't happening to me. Let me get everybody on the books.
And it's a challenge, though. It's a challenge to and it goes back to being disciplined, to doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it does pay itself off, and your team is able to sustain themselves. You're able to sustain yourself. You don't have that pressure to, again, it goes back to that thing. We're all going through this, but we're not all in the same position. And, hopefully we all come out better and stronger and wiser. Yeah. And we take note of the examples that are out there and be like, fuck, I need to be in a better position when it comes to my business and my brand and my company and my team. I know it was an eye opener for me. It was good. I'm always the guy that loves challenges. I love facing things like this because, this reveals character 1,000%. It goes back to one of those things where they ask how I can be positive. Well, it's discipline. If you're a complainer is always going to complain no matter what. Someone's always going to make an excuse no matter what. People are going to be positive no matter what. If that's what they programmed their mind to be. I love the fact that you were able to come on the show, be another great example of that. This is why we created this podcast, is to, help give out information, give out good examples, give out, motivate, be add motivation to the people out there through our stories, through stories like entrepreneurs like yourself. And you're not the only one. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are in your shoes that are like, okay, fuck, we're taking this hit, but we're in a position where we can navigate this without, overreacting or panicking or acting out of emotion. So, we appreciate you coming on. And again, one more time before the show is over, I want to give a huge shout out to all the women out there who are fucking working their ass off for, their company, their business, who are at home, full-time teachers, full-time mothers, full-time wives. I'm telling you, you ladies are a lot stronger than what we are, because what you do, fuck. My daughter.
Yeah, man, is your wife the cameraman? Like, what's going on, bro?
I
want to give a bigger shout out to the women out there.
For real, man. It's just, look, we just got to be real about it, man. Our partners, man, we wouldn't be us without them.
No, I wouldn't. At the end of the day, I can be the boss, I can be chef, I can be whatever, and then I can go to bed. My wife has to be, everything has to be, and mom.
Right.
So
I want to make sure that they know how much they're appreciated, how much they're loved, and we thank you. It gives us peace of mind, to go out there and do what we do. And if there's men who are the stay-at-home men, and there's wives out there that are conquering the world, y'all too. It's, our partners out there, man. It's fucking tough. It's like any other business relationship or any other relationship, and so
teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, it's all about fucking teamwork and making it happen. So, shout out to all our partners out there who are helping us and supporting us and giving us the strength to get through this. Because at the end of the fucking day, we are fucking going through a fucking plague. And so hopefully this shit's over soon. We get back to our normal lives, and we do what we do.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Well, Shannen, I really appreciate you coming on the show. We'll catch you back up with you once all this is over and see where you're at and what you're doing. And we look forward to seeing you out there on the streets. Marco, any last words?
I'm good. Just wish everyone out there to stay safe. It'll come when we need, or everything will open back up as soon as it needs to. My advice is not to rush anything for everyone out there, but it'll happen slowly, but it'll happen. I know a lot of people out there. I've talked to a lot of other food truckers, and they're starting to feel it. I know it's tough, but
it is.
We gonna make it. We gonna make it.
And that's a real. I mean, it is fucking tough. There's. We're not out here. I'm not out here saying that it's all. It's a real fucking thing. And even all of us, we all fucking feel it financially, mentally, emotionally. It's fucking stressful. Lindsay, any last words?
Stay home if you're sick. Wash your hands, but most of anything, make the best of the time that you're given.
On the whole washing hands thing, did you guys hear that now if you fart, did you hear that? That was real. No. That was real news. So make sure you fucking holding in those farts, fuckers. Which is
do not hold in your farts, fuckers, because that will fuck up your tummy.
Oh, really? What they're saying if you pass gas, they're saying if you pass gas or something, you can pass the fucking virus. That's some shit.
I thought you were going to tell me Hidalgo said she was going to fine us $100 for farting.
Everything passes. Oh shit.
Do we want to get political? How without getting too political, without getting political at all? I don't know how you can do that, but how would y'all rate her performance, 1 to 10? Do we want to go there? We don't have to go there.
Well, I just think in general, the whole country, everything's like. It's stuff that should have already happened. I don't know if it's going to make it any better at this point, but I don't know. I'm not going to
share Shannen or not really.
I guess my whole thing about if you're referring to her with the mask, everything, it's like they're doing it everywhere else. So I don't know why. I mean, what it is? People don't have the answers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I feel like Kanye, you don't got the answers, Sway. No one really knows, but people have been wearing masks in China for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've been wearing masks since 2002 when SARS was popping. So it's like, I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think people are like, people are crazy about, the rights. I have the right to not wear a mask. I have the right to, if wearing a mask means we can get past this faster, then put a mask on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, it is what it is. I think in this country, we're so used to having all these rights that even when stuff is taken away from us for our own good, people buck the system, just to buck the system. Like, remember when they first quarantined us, they were everyone to stay at home and everyone was at the parks and everyone why can't y'all just listen? Why can't we just do this and get it over with?
Because it's America.
I don't think it's the parks that are the problem. I don't think people going to the park is
the parks or the farts.
I don't think people's farts are the problem either. Well, actually, people's farts are pretty fucking gnarly sometimes. No lie, those are our problem. But I don't think people going to the parks are the big issue. I think it's much more than that.
I mean, not just that. It's just like, all right, the whole thing was social distancing. People weren't social distancing. You know what I'm saying? So, and not necessarily going to the parks, but it's just like we were told to social distance. We were told to stay at home, not to go out unless it was an emergency or something like that. And I feel like maybe had it been taken more seriously. I'll go back to my friend my friend Tariq who passed. He contracted coronavirus as an officer because he had to tell people, he had to break up gatherings and tell people to go back inside their home. If people would have listened, he'd probably be alive right now.
What do you think about that bullshit that they're doing? All the all the protests that they're doing in different parts of the country where they're going to state capitals, and they're having their rallies. And I mean, it's again, I'm not gonna say who's right, who's wrong, because what yeah, whatever, it is what it is. But to get back on the whole judge thing, I wasn't a big fan of the whole judge. I didn't think she had it in her. But I love when I'm wrong. I love when someone proves me wrong, and she proves me wrong. I like her style. She has a backbone. She's got a little spunk in her, and she's making those tough calls regardless of what people might think and what other judges might do, and so I can respect that. I can respect someone with a backbone and that can stand their ground and try to do the right thing. Are they always right? Maybe not, but yeah, I think she's gonna be all right. She's like 26, 27. Shit, can you imagine that? A 26-year-old is making these decisions for the city. It's not, and they're not easy. They're not easy at all. But I respect her. I like her, and she's won me over for the time being. We'll see what the future. Holds for her in the political world. I'm sure there'll be great things for her. Who knows? Maybe she'll be president one day, 2030.
Let's hope that we're not going through the movie Idiocracy.
Which one?
I said, let's hope we're not going through the movie Idiocracy at that time.
All right, y'all. Well, H-Town, we appreciate you guys tuning in once again. It was another great episode of Soundbites HTX. It's your boy Manny from What You Craving, along with our co-host
Lindsay from the West End of Public Health.
And Marco with Walker Food Truck.
Walker, and then our special guest, Mr. Shannen Tune from Craft Burger. Give a shout out to your wife. Say what's up to your kids. We'll make sure we're following you on social media. Again, where can they follow you and check you out on social media?
Well, you can follow me at Craft Burger Food Truck. You can follow me at Shannen Tune on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere. We're out there. Awesome.
And so when all this shit is over and done with, man, let's all get together, go have a beer somewhere and shoot the shit, man.
All right. Watch out for the pecking order. That's one of my new concepts is about to stop.
What is it?
The pecking order.
The pecking order.
Yeah. Pecking.
Shannon, I had a question before we ended. Ended.
Go for
it.
So
the ghost kitchen that you're working out of for deliveries, or that you will be working out of like early May, where? Like what area of town is that in?
It's in like the 3rd Ward medical district area.
Probably my delivery area. I'm good.
All right.
All right, H-Town.
I was like, where's this delivery area at?
Y'all keep your heads on straight, man. Stay positive. Make sure you're working on your story, how it's going to be told, how you got through this fucking, what's the word? Pandemic. It's 2020. And so all this shit just reveals your character, man. Make sure you're on the right side of this. We'll catch y'all next week. We'll have another great guest. Peace.
Yes.
Ciao.